offshore wind, solar. Dominion Energy is a leader in the clean energy transition. We're dedicated to providing reliable, affordable, safe, and clean energy as we support and invest in our communities in 16 states. Dominion Energy is building a clean energy future. Actions speak louder.
I'm Peggy Fox, Dominion Energy Media and Community Relations Manager. Actions Speak Louder is our motto because it reflects our core values of safety and ethics and our commitment to serve our customers. We also support numerous organizations and people. One group of people we strongly support are veterans. A few months ago, I attended a ribbon cutting in Fairfax County for Operation Renewed Hope Foundation. I will show that to you in a moment, but first I would like to introduce Colonel Deborah Snyder, former Army helicopter pilot. You are the CEO and founder of Operation Renewed Hope Foundation. Tell us about it.
Yes, ma'am. So I founded the organization about 10 years ago, and since then we've helped more than 1,000 veterans right here in the DC metro area get into or stay in housing.
I remember hearing you describe what it was that decided that you should do something about veteran homelessness. And tell me a little bit about that story.
Well, I was working in Crystal City, walking from my car to the office, and I would come upon veterans with signs out there saying that they were homeless. And so I said, you know, in the DC metro area and even in the United States, we shouldn't have anyone homeless, let alone veterans who have served our country. So I decided to do something about it.
Love that story, and you have, and you're still moving forward. And the mission is to end veteran homelessness. It seems like an insurmountable goal, but yet you are proving it's not. And that little by little, step by step, you can do this.
Yeah, and we're all about providing quality housing and supportive services to these veterans. We put them in the house or in an apartment and get that wraparound services so that they can be self-sufficient.
So I mentioned a little bit ago that I attended a ribbon cutting. I want to show you that now. It was a ribbon cutting for a home that Operation Renewed Hope Foundation purchased, and it has become a new home for homeless veterans. I want you to take a look.
Okay. Here we go.
Operation Renewed Hope, tell me what it is and why this is such a great day.
So Operation Renewed Hope Foundation, our mission is to provide quality housing and supportive services to our nation's homeless veterans. It's a beautiful day here. We are just doing a ribbon cutting for this home that went from 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, to 4 bedrooms and 3 full baths. So it's going to be an amazing opportunity for a family or for individual veterans.
Homemade builds and renovates facilities and housing for other nonprofits. That's our entire mission. And the beauty of this nonprofit and private partnership is we leverage professional builders and trade partners to do the work for a fraction of the cost. For them, it's a win-win. They're doing what they do best. For the trades, it's a way to give back. You know, it's not just flooring and it's not just paint. There's a much bigger meaning behind that flooring and paint. It's dignity. It's hope for veterans coming out of homelessness.
Fairfax County Government, Department of Housing and Community Development, the Fairfax County Redevelopment and Housing Authority, we are so proud to partner with Operation Renewed Hope Foundation and all of their very generous trade partners.
You can see the many organizations supporting this effort. Dominion Energy is on the list, and we are so proud and happy to be supporting this effort and supporting veterans.
Without the community support and the sponsors and the trades that have donated time, materials, and labor to this event, we couldn't make it happen. I mean, it allows us to take that money and put it to our supportive services or to buy other homes so that families can live in quality homes.
It gives people a sense of pride. It makes them feel worthy. Like somebody cares. Somebody really, really cares and wants to make sure that they have the start that they need to get back on their feet.
So it just looks like a beautiful home, Deborah. Tell me a little bit about how does that happen? I mean, housing is so expensive in this area. How do you go about finding a house to purchase and getting it renovated? I mean, it must be so expensive.
It is very expensive, and so we do a lot of fundraisers to raise that money, but we are also grateful to Fairfax County for CDBG, Community Development Block Grant funding that helps purchase part of that, and we go out into the community and see who might be interested in selling their home. We look for ones that need some help, and then we worked with Home Aid, another nonprofit, to help get it renovated. So it was a probably $200,000 renovation project all together.
And some of the homes, they're for whole families, and then other homes have groups of veterans, is that correct?
Yeah, so it's set up, this particular home was set up where we could put 4 individuals in it or a family in it, either way, so that everyone can have their own space.
And you don't just, it's not like they just live there and that's that. You continue, and there are wraparound services. Is that right?
Exactly right. You know, without the wraparound services, sometimes people can get lost. And so we pride ourselves in providing that case management so that they can get to the next level and just be self-sufficient.
Right. And they don't, I mean, they do contribute. I know that, you know, the
Yes.
organization Habitat for Humanity requires the people who are going to live there, they help build. And the people who live in your houses also, there's a commitment from them, correct?
Absolutely. Some of them might have a housing choice voucher where they contribute a certain portion of their income, like 30% of their income, or they may have some other subsidy to help them get in there. And that's exactly right. They have to contribute. And we rent it to them at or below fair market value.
Well, it's just incredible what you're doing. Thank you so much. We
Yes,
really,
we're happy to do it.
we, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Dominion Energy is a big supporter of veterans. In fact, 1 in 5 of new hires at Dominion Energy is a veteran. And the person heading up that mission is Dominion Energy's Military and Recruitment Program Coordinator, Matt KELLAM. And Matt, thank you so much for being here. We also have Ken CUSTALOW, who is with Tribal Relations. We're going to be talking to him in a few minutes about our commitment to Native American veterans. But Matt is here to talk about recruiting veterans. So Matt, can I ask you, what do we do to make sure that, you know, we're a great place for veterans to come and work?
Sure, I appreciate you having me, and I think it really just starts with commitment from top level leadership, and I think that's with anything. Deborah, the work that you're doing is amazing, but you know it only starts with the commitment that you initially made and have gotten others to buy in on. So it starts with that top level commitment, but also dedicated resources. So I'm very fortunate to work in the role that I'm in. So I'm very honored to be the company's military program coordinator. We have a dedicated military recruiter. We have a very active veterans resource group, which is an employee resource group. So we have these dedicated resources beyond the commitment, but then even past that, and not to mention all the activities. So I'll wait till you might inquire about some additional things that we do. But the other thing is we have a documented strategy as well. So there's a method to how we approach the work that we do.
Well, why? I mean, obviously veterans make great employees, and we know this. How did we learn this, and why do we make it a strategy?
Sure. Well, yeah, our company's well over 100 years old. A little bit of a side note, I'm actually the 4th generation of my family to work for the company. So even in my family, collectively, we have over 120 years. But what's interesting is my family is an example of the question that you just asked. So 3 of the 4 generations of us are actually military veterans. And so the reason I share that is really the electric industry or energy industry has always been very friendly to and similar to what we seek out of the military. And so anyway, part of the reason that we do this is, one, it's just good for our business. Obviously, military veterans and military spouses and folks who come out of that community possess great skills, strong education, and enhance the business that we perform day in and day out. But the other thing is, it is a way to tap into our communities for the skills that it possesses, just beyond the training that these folks have. So yeah, again, I could go on and on, but it makes good business sense.
How do we recruit veterans? What is the strategy?
Sure. Well, part of the strategy is, of course, sourcing and recruiting. And so in that particular category, obviously, we have really close relationships with many of the military installations in our footprint. Obviously, here in Virginia, I'm located in Richmond, Virginia, but here in Virginia, we're very fortunate that we have a lot of military installations. So we have close relationships there. We have close relationships with Guard and Reserve units across the footprint. Our State Department of Veteran Services, we have really close relationships with. as well as some of the veteran service organizations and the community organizations that are out there. For example, Deborah's group and the work that she does. But real quick, some of the other things that we do is we partner closely with education. So it's important to have transition and pipeline programs with some of the community college programs and schools that are out there. Obviously, branding is very important. So opportunities like this, just to get the word out and let folks know and tell the story, is really important. And then finally, it's really critical, the education and training piece, which is kind of the fourth piece of how we approach our program, because we have to make sure, you know, 2 or 3 of us or a group of veterans, we can't do it all. So we have to continue to educate our hiring leaders, top level leadership, and even our other HR partners that support talent acquisition. So those are the components that allow us to be successful.
Well, Matt, I know that Dominion Energy is a great company to work for, but why does the work appeal to veterans?
Well, obviously in the military, folks either go into it with a desire to serve, or they quickly learn that what they're doing in the military is service oriented. And that's what the energy industry is. You know, we provide a service every day. We're very safety oriented. We live by our core values, and those are very similar to that of the military. I would also say that culturally, Dominion Energy, as well as the broader energy industry, culturally, we have a lot in common with the military. So I think that, you know, for those reasons, service, culture, collaboration, teamwork, you know, all those things tend to align with what a service member possesses or learns when they are in the military. Mm-hmm. So then they find it, you know, very comfortable fitting when they come into Dominion Energy.
Well, this past year, I had the opportunity to meet one of our new veteran hires, and his best friend from his hometown in Pennsylvania does a lot of work for the Wounded Warrior Project, which has had great difficulty raising money during the pandemic, like a lot of nonprofits have. So I want you to take a look at the incredible thing they did to help.
So I grew up about an hour outside of Manhattan. I was a sophomore in high school during 9/11. So I enlisted in high school, and right after high school I left and went to the military. My best friend approached me, and he does a lot of stuff for the Wounded Warrior Project and events, and because of COVID this year, they can't hold a lot of their events, and their fundraising is down a lot. So he asked me if I was willing to do something crazy with him, and asked me for an answer before he told me what it was. So of course I said yes, and now we're embarking on a 170-mile walk over 5 days, wearing these for the Wounded Warrior Project to raise money.
I am helping him prepare for his 170-mile hike.
We're starting in Delaware Water Gap, Pennsylvania, which is our hometown, and we're walking all the way to Penn State, which is about 65% across the state of Pennsylvania. The most important thing to know is there's veterans struggling all over the country. They serve our country honorably and without forethought. They ask for nothing in return. And their sacrifice does not end with their service. They continue to sacrifice for the rest of their lives, trying to maintain some type of normalcy in their existence. And it's important for programs such as the Wounded Warrior Program, who have a 24/7 phone line for veterans that are struggling, that can call in and get immediate help, mental health counseling, and even more important, rehabilitative events where veterans can go out free of charge and go fishing and go whitewater rafting and get together with other veterans. It's not so much about healing their physical ailments as it is healing their hearts and minds.
I'm really proud of him. I think that being a veteran himself and being somebody that's not wounded, ill, or injured, but being able to go out and support his fellow veterans, I'm really proud of him for that.
The pain that we're going to feel along the way is nothing in compared to what these veterans and former service members feel every single day.
So Matt, I know you know Corey and what a great thing he did and what a great guy he is. I mean, were you just amazed that he walked all those miles to raise that money?
Yes, but no. yes, and that he did it. I mean, obviously that's just an amazing gesture and effort, but no, because, you know, many of our veterans find ways like that to serve or to give back, and typically it's very quietly done. and it can come in many shapes and sizes. So again, I think it's impressive that he and his friend did that, and so glad that we were able to capture that story, because I think just like we have the opportunity today, it's really important to tell the stories, just so others can see it and connect however they see fit.
Yeah, he did raise thousands of dollars. I don't have the exact number, but it was really incredible, because some news stations picked it up, especially when they ended their walk in Pennsylvania at State College at Penn State, where his friend went to school. There was a lot of interest, a lot of media, so that generated more people giving to the campaign. So that was really, really exciting. So look, Matt, I also wanted to ask you, how can veterans find out about jobs at Dominion Energy?
Sure, I'll give you two websites, one is dominionenergy.com/military. That's our military page on our website. We can learn a little bit about all of what we get engaged with. But then and that will link you to our careers page, but also there is careers.dominionenergy.com. So those are the two websites that folks can go to learn more about our military specific and career efforts.
And I know you did mention a lot of other organizations we work with to get the word out. Any others you want to mention?
Well, I don't know that I want to specify any particular organizations. There's so many of them. But one thing I would like to reiterate is just that our Veterans Resource Group is so active, and that allows us to support our community business and other employee-related efforts. Obviously, we have our Dominion Energy Charity Classic, which is we're the top-level sponsor for one of the senior PGA tournaments that comes through Richmond, Virginia, and all of those proceeds go to veteran organizations, which we're extremely proud of. And that amount is in the millions after several years of hosting that tournament. And then I would like to just kind of end by saying that the Troops to Energy Jobs program is something that we were able to help develop and are still an active member, but for about a decade now. And so that Troops to Energy Jobs program, in partnership with others in our energy industry, is something that we're especially proud of. And I know that our former CEO is smiling down on the legacy that we were able to help continue in that regard.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Farrell was a big supporter of veterans and getting veterans to work for us. So I'm glad you mentioned Mr. Farrell. He's quite a legacy there. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm kind of going to shift gears now and talk about a certain type of veteran that we support. And now that the Smithsonian is back open, I'd love you to take a trip down to see the National Museum of the American Indian. There's a beautiful new addition outside that honors Native American veterans, a group that has served in our military in higher percentages than any other group. Take a look.
Well, for Native people, we think about Native Americans and our history all year long, but it is good to have a month to help raise public awareness and to give people time to reflect on their own connections to Native communities.
The memorial means to me recognition of Native Americans who have put their lives on the line for our country, sacrificed for our country. Appreciation of Native Americans has not always taken place in this nation. So the fact that we have a memorial today honoring our veterans is an amazing feat.
By sponsoring this project, Dominion is part of saying that Native communities, Native issues, and Native veterans are an important piece of our national narrative.
I think it's really important for corporate America to recognize Native Americans as sovereign nations, as folks that have a right to process and to voice in decisions that are made.
Now I'd like you to meet Ken CUSTALOW, Dominion Energy's Tribal Relations Manager. Ken is a Native American and member of the Chickahominy tribe. Ken, thanks so much for joining us. Anything else you'd like to say about your involvement with Dominion Energy?
Well, thank you, Peggy. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here today. Yeah, I would like to just say thank you to the company for supporting the Veterans Memorial there at the National Museum of the American Indian. Many of our tribal members have served bravely, they serve frequently, but yet you don't hear a whole lot of talk or discussion about that in the media. And the fact that we now have a memorial there in Washington, D.C. to Native American veterans, the contributions they have made, the sacrifices they have made. Many Native American veterans served in World War I, II, Korea, the Vietnam conflicts, are currently in the military, and it's their pleasure, I think, to serve because this is still their land as well. This is still the native land.
Yeah.
So it's a privilege to just be able to go to the memorial and have it dedicated and just have a company that is willing to sponsor that.
And Ken, I know that you played a big role in facilitating Dominion Energy's contribution to the memorial. And you and I and some other folks from Dominion went to see the memorial after it was first unveiled. Unfortunately, it was unveiled during the pandemic, and the whole celebration had to be sort of canceled, but we still were able to go view it. And I just found it so moving. What did you think when you first saw it?
Yeah, Peggy, I was the same way. I just, I looked out at the memorial and I stared kind of in awe. Mm-hmm. Just the beauty of it, what it represents to our country, what it represents to Native Americans. I think in 2022, they'll actually be able to do the formal opening of the memorial. All the tribes will be there from around the country to celebrate that, and all the natives that served, many will be there representing their tribes and their units and what they were able to bring to it. So I was moved, absolutely.
You know, and I did not know that Native Americans really had this enormous commitment, and that they have served at a greater number. And when you hear that, and you realize like there's no other memorial anywhere that is a national memorial that recognizes that, it's just so significant that we finally have that.
It is. And, you know, it's just, it's one more place where natives can go and just celebrate our culture, who we are, mm-hmm. how we've served this country. And I am right in line with you. People should go to the museum just itself to learn about Native traditions mm-hmm. in the country and how they serve. But again, just viewing the memorial and just how special it is. And I'm sure they'll see people out there, probably natives who served, and just see how they're moved by the memorial.
Well, it is. You know, it's kind of an interactive place when you go. You don't just stand there. You walk around it, and there's the music and the chants that you can hear, and people have left. Talk a little bit about that, about what people leave. They're signifying prayers, right?
Sure. Yes. So doing a great job with the description there. So the memorial itself is actually circular, and it has spears at the north, east, south, and west side, based on it. And then there is basically an eternal type flame in the middle of the memorial. And when Peggy and I and the rest of the crew from Dominion went there were feathers, there were medals, there were notes, all kind of thing of people who had been to the memorial, and you know, they were a veteran, or their family members were veterans, and they were honoring them. You know, the Native culture is full of just traditions that honor people, honor their history, their legacy, and their service in the military and protecting our homelands is a point of significant pride.
I remember also there were tobacco leaves, which has some kind of significance in terms of prayers, I believe. Sage, okay.
Yes, sage as well, which is kind of a soothing, healing kind of herbal medicine, and used for a lot of prayers. A lot of people use sage for prayers from the native. Yeah.
It's really a unique, I mean, there's lots of memorials in DC, but this is so different and so unique that I really hope everybody goes down to see it.
Well, thank you. And just to put in a plug real quick, you know, there are ongoing costs for the memorial and interpretive works. So if somebody feels compelled to donate to the National Museum of the American Indian, and specifically the National Native American Veterans Memorial, please don't hesitate to do that. It's something that needs to be preserved for perpetuity and for everybody to see itself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ken, for telling us and just describing the memorial and giving a plug. We want everyone to go see it. And Dominion Energy, of course, is a supporter and gave a significant contributions to make that happen. So thank you so much for being with us today, Ken, and also Deborah. Have you been down there to see the memorial yet?
I
know
have
you
not,
want to go.
but I'm part Indian, so I need to go for
I
sure.
know you said that. I wanted to make sure you had a chance to say that. And thank you for your service. And thanks to Matt KELLAM, also a veteran, thanks to your service. I appreciate all three of you being here today and talking about the importance of supporting veterans. Your work here in the Northern Virginia region in stopping veteran homelessness, doing some real important work, and Ken and highlighting Native American veterans, and everything you do at Dominion Energy, and Matt, your recruitment efforts with veterans and getting more veterans to work for Dominion Energy. All great projects. We just wanted to let everyone know about Dominion Energy's commitment and support of veterans. If you want to learn more, obviously go to the Dominion Energy webpage and look up veterans, and you can find everything you need to know. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you join us next time on Actions Speak Louder.